Yo, what up? It's your man Montell Jordan. This is how we do it. You know what it is. All hip hop. Keep it locked.
Hey, what's up? It's Max Ray, and you're watching allhiphop.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man Chuck Creekmur, aka Jigsaw, here at One World Studios with my dog
DJ Thorough, aka Thorough Bridge to the streets, baby. Let's go.
And we are here with two special guests. One's a legend and one's an upcoming pop sensation.
Pop sensation.
Max Ray and Montell Jordan. What's up with y'all? How y'all doing? Yeah, it's glad to have y'all in here, man. It's a special occasion.
Glad to be in the house, man.
Yes, thanks for having us.
I love your presence, man. You make me look better. I look better now when you love it.
So I want y'all to tell us what brings you here instead of me telling everybody what brings y'all here. Tell everybody what brings you guys in the studio.
30-year anniversary of This Is How We Do It.
We gotta clap for that.
Got a song?
I need everybody to clap.
Yeah. Clap your hands. Yeah, 30th anniversary, and together we were able to come together and collaborate on a vision that you had for kind of reinventing and reimagining the 30-year song in a way that's, that translates to a new generation of listeners and musicians and artistry through what you're doing. So,
well, thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited and really honored. I mean, this collaboration I never thought would be possible. So I'm just in a surreal pinch me moment.
Right.
This Is How We Do It came out in 1995.
Yes, sir.
It was a party. It still is a party anthem.
Yes, sir.
That we still rock and play.
It's a must play at any party, any function.
Can you tell us a little bit about the record itself? And I want to try to give some context.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you answer that question, and then we'll talk about the period of time that was.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my college days, when I would go to a party or whatever, fraternity, sorority party, Slick Rick's Children's Story, that was the record. And I could watch exactly that what's happening right there, right now. There was, it was a song that wasn't just like music, like it was literally a movement. Like I could watch a room shift when that song came on. And I, as a young guy that wanted to be, I grew up as a gospel, in church musician, but I always had this thing. I said, if I ever get a chance to sing over that record, like that's it. If I could sing over that record. Right. And so literally it would be years to come. And then the opportunity got signed by Def Jam Records.
Right.
I was signed as Russell Simmons' rap singer. And the idea behind that song was I wanted to sing over that record. So the entire first album, This Is How We Do It, the entire album, it wasn't called This Is How We Do It because that was the very last song that I recorded on the first album. Because I knew the track, but I wanted to make sure we did the right thing with the track. So it was already a hit from Slick Rick. The objective was, how do you take a hit and then try and turn it into a classic and not do anything to desecrate? Right. Because y'all know, like, there are certain records that, like, don't touch that. That's the holy grail.
I have those conversations all the time. Like, don't touch that.
So it was gutsy.
Right.
It was gutsy to approach This Is How We Do It in that way.
Right.
But just the idea that I felt like I knew what to do with it, and Def Jam signed off on it because they had Slick Rick, and that just it all just kind of played itself out that way.
Now, you mentioned Slick Rick. Did you at any point wonder, should I get Slick Rick on this? Are they going to approve of it? Like, it's Russell Simmons. Like, what was your thought process with that?
When I had the idea for it, it just so happened that because Def Jam, Slick was just coming out of jail around that time, and so for him it was a good look, as well, to be able to have a song in rotation for publishing purposes and all of that. And because we did the right thing with the record, they signed me and we did it, and then it was cool to get it's always cool when somebody you admire comes alongside and says, that guy is that's legitimate. That's legitimate because Slick did that for me. Rick did that for me, and to this day, we did other records together. We did the record I Like together on the Nutty Professor soundtrack on my second album. And he and his wife Mandy, we are friends to this day.
Yeah,
so
Mandy's good people.
Mandy can call me and cuss me out.
Mandy,
yes, she can.
Shout out to Mandy. She's good people.
Yeah.
Now, for you to recreate a recreation of reverse. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, right?
so we're like,
we gotta go there. We gotta go
can't
there.
redo this. That's a classic.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we feel like old people.
Stop it.
But how did what was your approach? This was more of an EDM club vibe.
Yeah, it was. I mean, because I've been saying all day, I wish I was born in the era of '90s good club hits,
Right.
like actual music.
yeah,
you know.
I agree.
And now all clubs play is EDM dance music. So it's like, okay, I want to be able to hear the song now and get it played. But of course, I love R&B. So like, how do I marry the two?
Right.
That was the whole goal.
Yeah. So here's my question. So let's put this into context. 95, what the tensions were starting in the West and the East were starting to it was starting to happen.
Yeah.
And you actually brought like this positive energy, right? But at the same time, you was kind of popping your stuff a little bit in that too. Like, how was there ever any tension? Was there ever any friction? Like,
I get what you're asking.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is this is how we do it. I was from the West Coast. I'm from South Central LA.
South Central.
I was brought in as Russell Simmons' rap singer. So what everybody was rapping about on the West Coast, I started singing about.
Yeah.
I would take hip hop lyrics and then I sang them. I was actually a rapper before I was a singer. Like ciphers, like the whole coming off the top of the dome, all of that.
Okay.
And so literally when Russell saw that, it was I want to take what's happening on the West Coast and I want to try and bring it to the East Coast. I want to have my hand in it. That's how me and how Dr. Dre's cousin, Warren G, how we all ended up on Def Jam. He was trying to get his hands, like Def Jam had like New York, like they had, I'm going to say a lot, but we had 160 Varick was popping, and so they were trying to get their hands onto the West Coast and bring it out East. So the way that it worked was because I was West Coast, I was South Central. I was documenting street life in Los Angeles out West, but now I'm doing it over a New York, over a hip-hop beat, over Slick Rick. And so from that standpoint, it was kind of like the best of both worlds where you're getting a New York, I don't even saying the children's store was New York, but it was hip-hop. You know, I was legitimately coming out of New York City. And so I am now singing West Coast stories on top of New York beats. And so just keeping it real, New York was looking at me some kind of way when the song first came out. Because I remember going up to Hot 97 and like y'all wasn't having it. Like Angie Moore, like everybody, like they wasn't, we love Def Jam, we love it, but you talking that South Central stuff. So up at Hot 97, we went into like an editing bay in the studio and I went in and I did the, I'm kind of buzzing, it's all because this is how we do it. Oh, New York does it like nobody does. And when I did New York does it like, Brooklyn does it like nobody. When I did that and I did, this is how we do it. It's Friday night, feel all right. The parties with Angie Martinez. So when I flipped the song and customized it, it was like, oh, it's not a New York anthem.
See, that's
New
when
York
New York
thought I was from New York.
That's when New York demanded recognition. Like now, you know what I mean? Like now you can just do it. But back then, we demanded recognition.
Yeah.
You know? Especially when you touching the Slick Rick. That was Slick
For sure.
Rick. You know what I mean? So that's why you got that flag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But I love the
love.
song.
It was love. It was love afterwards.
I knew that song was out of here when I watched one of my favorite shows, Martin. And Martin was on there like, this is how we do it. He kept doing that through the whole show.
Now the other thing I had a little beef with you at that time was I'm an alpha.
Oh,
and I was like, yo,
man.
this Kappa dude is doing a party anthem and we have to rock to it. I'm playing. I love the Kappas. I love the Kappas. We're not gangs, Jim Jones. Speaking of which, what do you think about that? Jim Jones compared the fraternities to gangs, and you're from South Central, and you're a Noop.
Yeah.
Blood. I mean, not blood, but red.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Pardon me. And
Well, first of all, I don't think if you don't know that culture, the fraternal culture or whatever, you will say whatever you say, not understanding what it is. But I will say there are similarities between certain brotherhoods and connectivity that do deal with colors and hand gestures and things like that. And so from that standpoint, I mean, you got to realize that the Crips, Bloods, the site, whatever, they weren't around in the early 1900s. Like those are things that develop, later in culture or whatever to try and, if you could connect to another guy, fraternity or sorority wise, in a college setting, if you couldn't do that, you wanted the same type of camaraderie and brotherhood out on the street. And so I think that there are similarities. We've had to fight with Bloods a lot of times out in California just because we be rolling around and be wearing some crimson red. Sometimes you roll into the wrong neighborhood and it's like, yo, cuz, what up with that? It's like, no. We're not blood and the crip and we college kids or what. Okay, well, you got to take that off though over here. So, it's drama, but, it is what it is.
You still here.
That's the facts. Right. We made it. We made it.
Now, how did it feel for you to when you first met this legend? How did y'all meet? When did y'all meet?
Well, in person today.
About 8 hours.
Y'all just met today.
I'm like,
yeah, right.
Hold on. We did a FaceTime call like months ago, but like, yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So of course it was funny. He came up behind me, and I was like, "Huh?
Wow.
Hi! Oh my gosh! And you are that tall? That's what I thought."
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Wow.
So we've been connected,
Yeah.
for months in promotion, doing songs, doing the video in separate places and everything. But like us coming in, and that's modern technology that we could actually create a song that can, really hit the world in a good place. And like we just meeting for the first time.
So what was it about her that you allowed her to touch your classic, and you
co-signed it?
Like what? Because I'm sure people have tried to maybe approach you about that before.
Well, I was saying, one, it's the 30-year anniversary of This Is How We Do It. I think there'll be tons of people that want to make a rendition or do something, pay homage to a song, and I appreciate that. I think that when we connected, one, it was because she's a girl who loves God, and because I'm a man who loves God. That initially was the thing that made me say, if I'm going to come alongside of anybody, I would want to do it with somebody that I know has the same type of values and stuff that I do as a guy who loves God. So that was the first thing. And secondly, I heard the song, and I thought the song was really, really dope. Like, it wasn't my normal niche or anything like that, but I was like, but to reach out to a new audience, to a different energy, a different dance, like that's a space that I personally haven't been in or whatever.
Right.
And so if we can have a banger somewhere in the clubs for this modern generation of people that love a different style of music, I'm like, after 30 years, why not? If you're a purist and you're like, no, this is how we do it, the original son, you know, okay, cool. That song ain't going nowhere. It's still here. But if you're a younger person, it's like, I want to dance, I want to have a different feel, different vibe, then I think Max did that, and that was the reason why. I think I said earlier, I trust her with the song. Somehow Slick Rick trusted me with the original, and 30 years later, I feel like there are other renditions. There will be renditions, hopefully forever, but the one that I came alongside of is because not even so much the song, but I trust her.
Right. Well, you're definitely in the category of what I call generational hits, and I'll give you an example.
Oh, word.
Nelly is hot in here.
Yeah. That's
50 Cent in the club.
Facts. Yeah.
Slick Rick Children's Story.
Absolutely.
Montell Jordan.
How we do it.
How we do it.
That's how we do it. You know, MC Hammer. You can't touch
this. Yeah.
Like you have and the king here, Michael Jackson.
Oh, for
Say
sure.
less.
Pick one.
Rock with you.
Anyone.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So
Really?
you have a generational hit that would transcend when we're gone, and it will still be rocking. That's very, very difficult to do. You know what I mean?
It is not easy.
It's not
That's
easy.
for sure.
And you really did capture that college environment in the song form. It was really like it was kind of like the fun side of everything that was going on at that time. For sure.
I think we struck a chord in '95, like that when the song hit, the summertime, like everything about it.
Crazy.
God, glory to God, because literally it just hit at a time when it just seemed like the world needed that thing. And even to this day, I think that, music is like time travel, right? It's like, if you think of great memories in your life, there's probably songs attached to it.
Yeah.
Like,
there is.
And if there's a tragedy in your life, there's probably a song attached to it.
Attached to that too, right?
And so if music is now connected to that time travel, at least this is how we do it for most people, is attached to a time when there were good memories attached with that with that part of life. And so to be attached to that is pretty cool.
Right.
Now let me ask you about Def Jam a little bit. Def Jam was the label for the longest time. And in '95 it was still the label, but things were definitely beginning to change. You had yourself, Warren G, Boss from Detroit.
Yep.
She was a gangster rapper from Detroit who gave us LA vibes, but
For sure, yeah.
And so things started to change a lot. How was your experience at the label?
First of all, me and Def Jam, we've always had great relationship. I think they saw me as their rap singer. Like I said, Russell saw me as a rap singer, and then eventually I morphed into kind of them wanting to go into R&B. So if I could say that Russell had hip hop on lock, and Andre Harrell, who was a friend of Russell's, had R&B on lock. And so they both were kind of trying to get into each other's world, but Andre wouldn't do anything hip-hop wise without asking Russell, what do you think? And Russell wouldn't do anything R&B wise without asking Andre, what do you think? And so when I came into the business at Def Jam as their rap singer, eventually my evolution was, how rappy am I supposed to be? How do they evolve me into more of a standard, legitimate R&B artist, which was what my second album was, More. And I think that part of that journey, if I could answer your question the best way I can, is that my journey at Def Jam was them. I eventually become the godfather of Def Soul. Yeah. So I come in as a rap singer. I then become their R&B guy, and they guinea pig and try and figure out how to work R&B because they've done rap all this time. But now you have Drew Hill, you have Kelly Price, you have Music Soul Child, you have these other R&B people that come on Def Soul. But it was because they started with me trying to figure out how to crack the code. So me and Def Jam have always been good, and then we came a point where we needed to part ways because they knew me now as a hip-hop guy that had up-tempo records, and when I came with a ballad, it was kind of like, yeah, well, give us another hip-hop up-tempo record. Sing over another track. Let's flip another sample and sing over that. And at some point, it was like, there's more to me. I'm a songwriter. I'm a balladeer. I got other things, and that's when we parted ways.
Okay.
Now, you've always been a man of God. When did you decide to start preaching full-fledged? Because, and by the way, I want to commend you. I was at Mr. C's funeral, and you preached a great sermon, man. That definitely was dope.
We were both there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was y'all sober?
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking. No.
I don't drink. He's an alcoholic, but I don't drink.
No,
No, stop.
Yo, that was the first funeral I ever to be that had like an open bar. I've never seen anything like that.
They did have an
how
open
did you
bar.
feel about that? It's an open bar, and you're preaching and...
No, you know what? People wanted to celebrate him in the way that they wanted to do that. For me, my objective is I'm supposed to bring the word wherever it needs to be brought, and to honor the family and to honor, his life. And so, but I fully went into full-time ministry in 2011.
2011, okay.
Yeah, 2011, that was me saying, farewell to the music industry, and stepped away for, 4 or 5 years, before reemerging and coming in to do different things. And I'll just say this really quickly. Part of my exodus from the music business was because I felt like I was in an abusive relationship. Anybody that loves someone that don't love them back, that's an abusive relationship. Yeah. And so I loved music. I said, I love music. I love music so much I do it for real. I love music. And music never loved me back. And so when I was, leaving music, and I was like, hey, y'all, I'm leaving. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. And what music wasn't like, no, Montell, don't leave. They were like, okay, bye. Wow. And so I was like, I love something that didn't love me back. And when I stepped away from it, then I learned the things that will love me back, that I have a God who loves me back. I have a wife who loves me back. I have kids who love me back. I have a life that loves me back. I have health. All these things love me back. Yeah. And so if I can prioritize those things, then I can now return to music years later, because I can do music, but music doesn't define me anymore.
Right, the way you describe that, that's a song right there. The way you put that, that's a song.
Yeah. I do that.
I need my 50%. I need my 50%.
Wow, well, you just want 50. That was very aggressive, bro.
Look, you worse than Def Jam.
I just threw the song idea. The idea, like I won't have. I just won't have.
I just won't have it. No, I'm messing. But no, that's a song. That experience, the streets, like it don't love me back.
To parallel a song, don't love me back.
Anything, the streets, music. The girl, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that.
That's so. Before we get out of here, I want to ask y'all, for you, what's next? What's your career trajectory? And for you,
Max, what's next?
Montell, is this your are you coming back to us? But think about it. Think about it. All right, go.
Okay. What's next for me? Well, my heart is R&B, not this dance kind of thing. No, but I have to mesh the worlds, and there's a way to break in the industry. Everyone's doing it differently, but my heart is that. So my next projects are pretty much all R&B, very Bruno Mars-esque, really. So that's what you can look out for, and I'll be on tour this summer. And just make sure you're following me so you can actually see all that. But
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, and what you just asked me, my journey is my wife and I. We are helping marriages stay together. That's like a big priority for us. Marriage ministry. We are shooting a documentary right now on my health journey. Last year I battled cancer. And beat cancer. I'm cancer free now, but I documented the entire journey.
Okay.
Congrats.
So there will probably be a soundtrack and some music to accompany the documentary, and that is what I am doing. And if Max Ray and her career starts to blow up and she's like, yo, I'm going out on a world tour, you need to come out with me and do this song or whatever, then we might be out doing that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But I still tour. I'm still out there.
Okay, good. Well, you should come to my college. We've never done a.
He's booking it for Delaware.
We don't do reunions anymore.
What was your?
I went to Del State University, and
that's crazy. Second.
Really?
You went to Del State?
I'm going there tomorrow. Yeah, get out of here. I'm trying to catch up with Deshaun Jackson, but I'm speaking there tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah,
what position? Wide receiver. Okay, dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's crazy.
Small world.
Yeah.
But I graduated from University of Delaware.
Crazy.
Don't get me.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah,
Wow.
There's a long story behind that. Yeah. But I just want to thank you guys for coming here to One Word Studios and gracing us with your presence. Very positive energy. We're all God-fearing people here, so just throw that out there.
Yes, sir.
Love it.
So we wanted to make time for y'all. So where can we catch you guys on social media, online, and any final words?
Oh, thank you. Well, you can catch me at Max Ray Music everywhere. And I'm just really grateful to even be in this room. So thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank you, Montell. There's not enough words to describe how grateful I am for you.
Oh, listen,
I can't keep
having,
talking. I'll cry.
I'm gonna cry.
I was gonna cry. Okay.
Having a journey. Everything you need to know about me, I'm Montell Jordan on IG or Montell and Kristen is Kristin. Montell and Kristen on Facebook, montellandkristen.com. Everything is the two of us.
There it is.
Where can we find you?
At DJ Thorough. You find me at DJ Thorough. Yep.
Very
Check
thorough of
me
you.
there. That's where I be at DJ Thorough. Anything at DJ Thorough. Except everything. That's it.
That's what's up.
Well, all right. Unfortunately, I don't have a train to catch that won't let me change the date or time.
Gotta
so
go.
I gotta go. But I do appreciate y'all. And,
thank you.
Yeah, I thank you for coming.
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate y'all.